Afternoon delight in Chicago, a businessman special on the south side as the Red Sox try to get back on track and salvage a split with the White Sox. It's the finale of a 4-game series between your Boston Red Sox and the Chicago White Sox, and it's all next here on NESN. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Boston Globe pregame report. I'm Bob Rogers alongside Jim Rice, and for a change, Jimmy, it's not raining.
It's not raining, so we're going to have a good day today.
It was not a good night for the Red Sox last night. Not only did it rain, but they lost the ball game as well. Brian Daubach, former Red Sox first baseman, with the big hit.
Well, Tim threw him I think it was a curveball. It could have been a knuckleball. I think it was a curveball, though. And he hit a ball down the right field line, and it's just like it hit the chalk. But it was outside. He didn't go with the pitch. He went the opposite way and got a base hit. Run scored. Game of inches. Really the story for Chicago, the pitching of Esteban Loaiza. He was terrific. Well, when the guy goes out and he consistently only giving up 2 runs and they're scoring more than 2 runs, he got a chance to win the ball game. And Billy Koch comes on. He seals the deal. Trot Nixon strikes out with a tying run in scoring position, and that was all she wrote. Here are your standings up today. Right now, the Yankees in a rain delay, so that game may not happen today. Red Sox actually closer to 3rd place, Jim, than they are to 1st place today. Well, with the way everything is going right now, we haven't really been getting good pitching from the starters and the relievers. We're still in the midst of everything, and so if we can get our bullpen straightened out, we got a chance to take over the Yankees. I think they're going to debate this Shea Hillenbrand trade. Some fans still don't like it. The reality of it is you get a good starting pitcher with Byung-Hyun Kim, but here's one of the interesting statistics. Since the trade, Bill Miller has hit just .225. What do you make of that? I think you have a good scouting system. When you go to other ball clubs, you have a scouting system that goes out and scout opposing players, and they have an idea of what Miller's not doing. And so when you have a guy like that can go out and they change speeds and he can't adjust, his average is going to go down. Before the trade, that was prior to May 28th, Bill Miller was hitting .382. Right now his average down to .329. Still leads the American League with 25 doubles. But as you say, Jim, the pitchers may have made an adjustment. Now he has to come back and make his own adjustment, right? He's got to make an adjustment. If he's a fastball hitter, he's got to hit the breaking ball, vice versa. So that's what he's got to do right now, and he's not doing that. So in order to become a better hitter, he's got to be able to adjust, take what they give you. If they're throwing the ball away, if they're giving you a breaking ball, hit the breaking ball the other way. If the ball's inside, pull it. So go with the pitch. Try not to fight yourself. I don't think we have to get too worried about this offense, but we have seen them slump a little bit of late. Well, yes, but the thing about it is that you're going to have stretches like that, and you hope one guy will come along and pick you up. So it doesn't mean that you have to go out and score 8, 9 runs. As long as you score 1 run more than the opposing team, that's all it takes. Last night was the first game this entire season the Red Sox did not have an extra base hit. They lead the majors in extra base hit, so Grady Little not too worried. He gives the credit to the opposing pitchers.
Everyone knows the kind of pitching we faced when we were playing the Astros in that last series, and then we come here to see Burley put together his best game of the season, and tonight another good performance by Loaiza. We'll have to come out and get him tomorrow.
Well, last night, just the 5th time the team has scored 1 run or less, and Kevin Millar was not in the lineup, but I guess that's one of the questions that Grady Little had to answer after the ball game, because Millar, one of his hottest hitters at this point, last 11 games hitting .366, 4 home runs and 13 runs batted in. Jimmy, you hated to have a day off. Yes, and the thing about it, he's at the ballpark, but if I was in a situation like that, I was going to talk to Grady as a skip. I need to be in there. I mean, I want to be in there every day, regardless of what position you play me at or any hitting position. Let me in there, because you see what he did. I mean, what he's done. I mean, 22 RBIs in the last 19 games. Guys need to be in there. Yeah, you can't sit him when they're hot. That's the big thing. A guy's in a slump, you sit him down, let him get his head back together. Don't sit him when he's hitting well. True, and he can't make up the loss right now as you go later in the season, because when you have your hot hitters, you got to use them, try to win all the games that you possibly can. You don't want to wait till August. Fact is, you talked about going in and talk to the manager back in 1978. You did that to Don Zimmer a couple of times. 1978, you didn't play 162 games. You played 163 games. Played 163 and missed 1 at bat. And like I said, you have to be at the ballpark anyway. And I think you can help the ball club by being on the field, not sitting on the bench. I don't want to be a cheerleader. I don't want to wear any pom-poms. If I'm going to do that, put me on the field. That's been Manny Ramirez's story this season, too. The only Red Sox player to appear in every game this season. All right, time now to go to Chicago. Bring in the 3rd member of our team, Tom Caron, standing by with the Boston Globe's Bob Holler. TC.
Oh, Bob, thanks very much. Talking about pitching here, and Tim Wakefield did a great job last night. Got the loss, however. The amazing stat this morning, I guess, it was the first loss by a Red Sox starter this month. So clearly that rotation has settled in well.
Yeah, absolutely. What, 15 straight games without a loss among the starters. I mean, the addition of Kim certainly has been important. Pedro returning has been key. Derek Lowe's performance has been crucial, and they get a nice start from Roop when he came up, and of course the offense has been carrying them as they have all season. And during that 15-game stretch, the Sox went 9-6, but the Sox offense produced at least an average of 7 runs a game or more during that stretch. So that was a big difference.
Bob, you mentioned Derek Lowe. He had won only one win in 6 starts coming into this month. This month now he's 3-0, 2.66. He's got 7 wins. So, maybe 20 wins isn't out of the question anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. We thought this guy was, really in peril early in the season, but as you said, last 6 starts, he's 4-0. 2.95, and last year at the All-Star break he was 12-4. At the rate he's going, he's not going to be there, but he could be close. He's not going to be an All-Star this year, but he's really recovered very well, and when they really needed him to.
A couple of lineup notes. Yesterday, Grady Little saying Freddie Sanchez would probably be in the lineup today. He's not.
No, a couple of factors. I mean, Freddie's going to be a key part of this team, I think, more and more as the season goes on. But they decided that we're coming up to Philadelphia on the artificial turf. They'd probably give one of the regulars a break this weekend. So they thought, go with the other guys. Sanchez, interestingly enough, is 2 for 3 in his career against Dan Wright, the Chicago Starters. I mean, I don't know if Grady cares or knows that, but he's had some success against them in a limited time.
And Jeremy Giambi is back in the lineup. 3rd straight game for Giambi. I don't know if they're trying to set him up for a big return to Philadelphia, but they're clearly giving him a chance to succeed here.
Yeah, and this is the first time this season that he started 3 straight games. Part of it is that he has had success against Wright, and I'm sure Grady does know that. He's 3 for 7 against him with 2 home runs. So, it's hard to ignore that. And again, they're trying to get him on track, and this may be the way to do it. Just let him get out there and play.
A couple of quick notes. Bobby Howery, as you know, season-ending surgery upcoming, so he will not be back with the team this year. Where's Casey Fossum at, Bob?
He's proceeding slowly. He's eligible to come off the DL next Tuesday. He's got the sore left shoulder, some tendonitis. He's been throwing. They're trying to be a little cautious. He hopes to get up in the bullpen mound by Tuesday, and it's pretty clear he's going to go to the bullpen when he gets back. And I think he's on board with that too. I think he's a little concerned about this. He's never had shoulder problem before, and this might allow him not to push it too hard, but if it still contribute in a key role for the team.
All right, that's the latest here from Chicago. A beautiful afternoon here on the south side. Not going to be the case in Philadelphia, we're told, so we will enjoy it while we can, guys.
All right, Tommy, thanks very much. We have a lot of famous Mickeys in the world. You have Mickey Mantle, Mickey Mouse, and Mickey McDermott. We'll talk about Mr. McDermott. In fact, he has a new book out, and you'll hear about that next. This spring, we have seen a bunch of new baseball books from great writers such as Kahn, Angel, Halberstam, and McDermott. McDermott? Yeah, it's Mickey McDermott. He was the can't-miss kid of the late 40s, but unfortunately never made it to the Hall of Fame. But he did lead an exciting life, and that led to his new book. It's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Cooperstown.
What do you remember most about about your appearances here? Now, you were a skinny kid, same size, and about how many pounds lighter?
Well, I'll tell you how skinny I was. I walked into a restaurant, stood still, and the guy threw a hat and coat on me. So that'll give you a little bit of clue how much I weighed.
Red Sox pitcher Mickey McDermott loved the fast life. He was either throwing his Bob Feller-like fastball or staying out until the early hours of the morning. McDermott's passion for excitement was not always welcomed by his teammates.
The last time it was up there, it said, "Mickey, go home." Cost Walter $500.
He arrived in Boston in 1948 and lasted 6 seasons with the Red Sox. His most memorable moment was against the Yankees at the stadium.
And all my guys, the gang from St. Patrick's High School, were all there and all this. And about the 8th inning, the phone rang and they said, "Get McDermott up, and I'm going to pitch to one hitter with a man on first and second called Charlie Keller." I threw him 2 fastballs. He missed both of them. I come back and I went, "Boom, a curveball. Strike 3, you're out."
In 1953, McDermott won 18 games, and that led to a singing career at various nightclubs around Boston. However, he was traded to the Washington Senators in 1954 and won only 7 games. And then it was Mickey who?
Max and Joe Snyder owned Steuben's. He said, "Mike, 18 and 10 by the voice you got." I said, "Oh, boy." He said, "We signed you to a contract. Don't worry about a thing." I lasted 3 months. Did a pretty good job. Had a loud band. I'd go on straight out, "Play loud." Okay. Then I come back with 7 and 15. He said, "Mike, 18 and 10 Oy, what a voice. 7 and 15, goodbye.
McDermott's Major League career ended in 1961, and he later became the California Angels batting practice pitcher. He might have lost his fastball, but McDermott still had his sense of humor.
It's a funny thing, you know, I haven't been back in Boston in about 7 years, and it's a thrill for me, you know, even though it's being a batting practice pitcher. I'll tell you one thing, I'm well qualified. I hit enough bats, so I might as well get paid for doing it now.
McDermott concludes that he lives his life probably not the best way or the most sensible way, but it is the McDermott way.
I might have regrets because I didn't listen too good. I did it my way, like I put in a book, and it was wrong. But at least I did it. I did the wrong. Somebody says to you, you did it wrong. So what? I did it.
Well, it's a good read. A funny thing happened on the way to Cooperstown. You can pick it up just about everywhere, including Amazon.com. Well, up next on the Boston Globe pregame report, we'll talk a little hockey. Do the Bruins have their new head coach? And how about some new players on their way to the Boston Bruins? Kevin DuPont next on the Boston Globe pregame report. And now it's time for our Mike's Hard Lemonade discovery of the day. And on June 19th, 1977, the Red Sox getting home runs from Denny Doyle, Bernie Carbo, Jim Ed Rice, Carl Yastrzemski, and George Scott as they pound the Yankees 11-1. The 5 home runs gave the Red Sox a total of 16 tall jacks against the Yankees, setting a Major League record for home runs in a 3-game span. Now, during the commercial break, Jim Rice and I were discussing ways to improve the Bruins in the... All right, Tommy, thanks very much. Now we go back to baseball. And, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, David Murphy was trying to get his college team to Omaha, Nebraska in the College World Series. That dream did not come true, but his dream to be drafted in the first round of baseball's June draft did come true, and he's now playing in the Red Sox organization, making his pro debut on Tuesday night in Lowell. That's the subject of tonight's Boston Globe commentary with Jackie McMullen.
I took a ride up to Lowell Tuesday night to see Red Sox first-round draft pick David Murphy's pro debut. He wasn't really that hard to pick out. He was the big kid in center field who made that terrific diving shoestring catch. He was the kid who patiently waited out a walk and then stole second in his first official professional at-bat. He was the one who roped a shot down the left field line for his first pro hit. And here's something else I liked about David Murphy. He played the entire game covered in dirt, from his cap down to his cleats. Now, he's not going to be a Major League center fielder. He doesn't have that kind of speed. But he's happy and willing to play the position to prepare him for what lies ahead. Now, Murphy's not the first kid to go to Lowell and try to hustle his way into the big leagues. Shea Hillenbrand was there before him. So was David Eckstein and Freddie Sanchez. Now, it's not Fenway Park, that's for sure. Can you ever imagine the player of the game at Fenway signing a ball for a lucky fan and then giving a live interview to the folks in the stands? Murphy did just that Tuesday night. He was, and I quote, just happy to be there. Not a bad reminder for the big boys up in Boston.
Well, so far, so good on this draft pick. Of course, it's early. That's Jackie McMullen's commentary. What do you think? Log on to boston.com/sports and give us your feedback. And while you're there, answer the poll question for today. Is Dave Wallace to thank for Boston's improved pitching? The Red Sox last night with their first loss by a starter in the month of June. Log on to boston.com/sports. We'll have the results during the ball game. And up next, Jerry Remy joins us for our triple play. And could this guy be on his way back to Boston? We'll ask Jerry. Welcome back to our Fenway Park studios. Bob Rogers, Jim Rice here in Boston. Jerry Remy is in Chicago. And Rem, it's a Thursday, I believe. My days kind of run together, but I believe it's Thursday. That means it's an Ask Remy Day. And at boston.com/sports, Eric in Halifax wants to ask you about Tom Gordon, what you thought the other night, and do you think perhaps the Red Sox would have some interest?
Well, you know, I was very impressed with the one inning that I saw him the other night. I mean, he looked like the closer that we had back a few years ago in Boston. He was throwing 96 miles an hour. The problem is I've only seen him one time. You know, you got to be able to check this guy out game after game and see about consistency. But, you know, if he can throw anywhere close to what he did the other night, certainly he could be a big boost for the Red Sox in the bullpen. The question is, you know, would they have interest in him? I certainly know that Gordon would like to come back to Boston. He left with not fond feelings about Dan Duquette, but he did love the city, and he did love playing in Boston, and quite honestly had some of the best years of his career there. So, you know, if the opportunity came up for him, I think he would welcome a change.
Jerry, did he throw that hard when he pitched for the Red Sox? It seemed like he had much better velocity than I remembered.
He was up there, you know, in the low 90s with his fastball, and of course Tom also has that very good curveball, which was his bread and butter pitch. But yeah, I don't recall him throwing 96. Now, I don't know if our guns were completely accurate the other night, but you could tell by the reaction of the Red Sox hitters that he certainly had good velocity in that game.
Last night was interesting to see Brian Daubach deliver against his former teammates. He's so close with so many members of this team. I don't know if you were able to catch the post-game interview, but he actually, for a moment there, almost was broken up a little bit, thinking back about his time in Boston. It must be really difficult for him.
Well, you know, you think about this guy's career. I mean, at one point he was a replacement player, and he got treated kind of poorly by a lot of the veteran players, certain veteran players on the Red Sox when he first came to that club. But he also became very close to many others, and he had a lot of very good friends on this team. And the one thing they all respected about Daubach was the fact that he went out there day in and day out and left nothing on the field. I mean, he played the game hard. So, you know, for him as a professional to beat around in the minor leagues for a number of years, finally get an opportunity to play in Boston and have a good amount of success for the Red Sox, I mean, those were fun years for him. And, you know, now he comes to a situation here where he's not been able to play very much at all. They got Frank Thomas, who's returned to first base, playing defensively now. So Daubach really doesn't have a lot of playing time. He's in there again today as a DH. But, you know, the years in Boston for him were his first years in the big leagues, and obviously the ones that he'll never forget.
Well, no doubt about it. Daubach is a good hitter. Defense a little shaky, but at least he went out there and he played. He played a little left field, play a little right. He's not going to hurt you that bad, but he loves to swing the bat. And Daubach's the type of guy that if you make a mistake, he got a chance to hurt you. And last night, he hurt Tim Wakefield. But he went against the odds. The ball was away, and he pulled the ball. So if he had went with the ball, he felt that bad about the Red Sox or leaving us, he would hit that little weak ground ball to shortstop. We would have been out of the inning.
He had one at-bat where he actually lost the bat against Wakefield, too, so he wasn't all that comfortable. Jerry, I want to ask you about Nomar. Obviously, right now, he is on a tear at the plate offensively. He was also kind of in a slump earlier this year, it seemed like, defensively. So it seems like it's all come together now for him because on both sides of the ball, he's been incredible.
Yeah, he quickly got to 9 errors early in the season, and I think he's only at 10 right now. So, you know, the defensive problems he had early have really slowed down. But, you know, the way he plays shortstop, I mean, he's always going to make a bunch of errors. And the reason for that is because of the way he throws the baseball. He's got that sidearm throw to first base that has a tendency to tail back in toward the base runner. And because of his arm action, you know, he's always going to make throwing errors. But, you know, he's been very solid recently. And, you know, he may be one of those guys. The better he hits, the better he plays defense. It's very hard. You know, Jim can tell you when you're not hitting the ball to go out in the outfield and you know, have your concentration level as high as it possibly can be. You should be able to do that, but that's easier said than done. And sometimes when players struggle offensively, they have problems defensively. Right now, the whole package is together right now for Garciaparra.
All right, Jerry, thanks a lot.
Okay, Bob.
That's the Rem Dog, Jerry Remy, alongside Don Orsillo today here on NESN. Tomorrow in the Boston Globe, this is what you'll be reading about, a complete preview of the NHL Draft. Ron Borges previews the big fight coming up, and a recap from Chicago, the Red Sox and the White Sox. It's all in the Boston Globe tomorrow. Sullivan Tire brings us the keys to the game. It's the pitching matchup.
Low and right. Low 73, right 0-3. We can make it 0-4 today.
You know, looking at Derek Lowe this month, 3-0 with a 2.66 ERA. Jim, it really turned around for him on the road. The fact that he was able to find some success. He had those socks up. We'll have to see if he does that again today.
Well, if he pulls them up, I hope we win. You know, that's his trademark right now, but I think Derek had a lot of things going through his head with his cancer and everything, and so that's in the past now. Now he's got to worry about going out pitching.
All right, we'll go the full hour after the ball game. W.B. Mason's extra innings, but now stand by for Boston Red Sox baseball. The Red Sox and White Sox, it's next. Enjoy the game.